and then a round table. So I'm delighted to introduce Adam from Flexxible to do a sponsor session on whatever Odin is. So I'm interested about this as well, because I don't know what it is. And I'm going to find out in a minute.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Nigel. Can everyone hear me okay? Is that nice and clear? It's a little bit quiet at the back earlier. Great to see such a diverse group of, I was going to say ladies and gentlemen. We've got lady and gentlemen in the room. But lovely to see you all, and fantastic job on the turnout today. It's great to see so many people here. They've been a little bit quiet this year. So it's really good to see so many people from the EUC community in one space. So thank you all for coming. Good to see you all. It's quite nice. My name's Adam Cooperman. I work for Flexxible. And today I have 15 minutes, which is a very short amount of time to try and present on what we do, the way we package our products, and some of the challenges that we're seeing in the industry. Also, in the last few months, we've had a change in leadership at Flexxible, which is quite a good thing because it means that we've got more structure, more product definition, and we're also starting to see the way our product has evolved head in a direction driven by customer requirement, which is something that I'm really happy about because it's really utilizing the best of our skills and our heritage in this space. So very quickly, just a little bit about Flexxible. So Flexxible have been going since 2008, and it was originally started by Sebastian Pratt. Sebastian developed automation solutions for deploying Citrix. So the initial tools that he created could deploy a best practice Citrix environment in a couple of hours by using a next wizard, well before things like Ansible and Terraform and Bicep were commonplace, which was quite cool because it enabled you to kind of build out those environments quickly. And that actually came from a heritage of desktop as a service. So when we first started out as an organization, we did desktop as a service for 20 users here, 50 users there, and we needed a quick way to be able to deploy these environments. Over time, that has evolved and evolved and evolved, and now we're over 100 people based out of Barcelona, working with some of the biggest names out there and talking to some of the biggest companies in the world. And that's something that we're quite proud of. Now, one of the core focuses of our expertise as an organization is automation. It's how do we automate things to make things faster, better, and to make users more productive. And the refocus that we've had around our products has been to really dive into this skill set that we have and this heritage that we have in automation and help customers to realize that. There's a lot of tools out there that can give you access to automation or can give you tools to use it. So we're now repackaging our products around building automation with you and your teams to help your EUC and end user computing environments be more successful, be easier, and drive productivity. But before I talk about the benefits and the flashy bits, it's probably a little bit better to start with the problem. What is the problem? Well, what we're seeing in the market is quite interesting. So the second highest demand IT skill in the UK right now, IT support and troubleshooting. Okay? I can see a few nods, all right? Is anyone, there's not actually that many people who are really good at troubleshooting, especially in EUC. And I made a joke about the diversity of the room here, okay, a little bit tongue-in-cheek. But it's true, actually, to deliver good end-user computing outcomes for an organization requires a lot of expertise because you're dealing with hundreds of applications, different versions, different platforms across the board, something that is inherently complex. And also, it's not the coolest or the trendiest or the flashiest area of IT. It's something that you don't go like, I want to work in IT support when I leave university, right? Which is where I imagine a lot of people in this room cut their teeth. So could I just get a show of hands? Who in this room started in IT support or sysadmin? Pretty much everyone, okay? So pretty much everyone in the room started in one of those roles. And that's how people end up in EUC roles because they started there and they worked their way up. And that has led to this huge skills glut in this area. One of the next things that we're seeing is, sorry, let me just double check my notes. One of the next things that we're seeing is that lower staff productivity is one of the biggest impacts of this skill shortage?
Stand between these two white legs.
Why?
So that the video can catch you.
Okay, sorry. You mean I can't pace?
Yeah.
I can't actually... I can pace between those two. I'm not starting again. Can I do like an elevator here? That's 5 minutes gone. Okay, am I running out? I should probably stop yabbering, yeah? Okay, perfect. So, in a survey by CompTIA of 500 businesses, it was productivity that suffered. Okay, and that's because environments are getting ever more and more complicated, they're getting more difficult to support, and that's having a negative impact on productivity. And the final piece of this is, I was chatting with Shannon Kalvar from IDC last year, and their prediction, Shannon Kalvar's a really interesting dude if you ever get a chance to talk to him. Before he was an analyst for IDC, he was a demographer. So we looked at different demographics of people professionally. He worked in energy and all kinds of other fields, and then he ended up in IT and technology. And his prediction, looking at the demographics of the level of IT skill and technical ability of people like university leavers and college leavers and school leavers, is right now today we have 20 million people in IT operations globally. Okay, don't quote me on those stats, I'm just repeating them at you, okay? But he reckons within 7 years we're going to have a 10 million deficit, okay? That's huge. And yet again, talking about the demographic in the room, it's something that I come back to, okay? There's not, I think, who's in their 20s here? 1, 2. Yeah, he put his hand back down. Yeah, you can go away. 1. All right, 1 person in their 20s. Ronnie, you're not having that, there's no way, okay? So the reality is IT operations is critical to enterprise organizations across the globe, but it's not cool and trendy technology, right? It's not the thing that everybody wants to get into. And that's going to be a problem, okay? 7 years, 10 million shortage, 50% of job roles, okay? So this 53-odd% stat up here for the IT support demand of being the second biggest job demand, it's only going to get bigger, and it's only going to get more of a problem. So why does it matter? This is kind of the first point, right? Well, there's 2 key things that I see. So for the first time in 4 decades, okay, this is a really interesting stat. And does this surprise anyone in the room, this stat here? No? Can I have a show of hands? Anyone surprised by this number? Paul. I think he's just being pedantic, because I've known him for too long. But nobody's surprised by that number, okay? And in 4 decades, and actually we've seen quarter-on-quarter decline in productivity. We've had COVID, everyone's working from home, the tools haven't been in place, the software and supportability of things are getting more complicated, delivering applications to people anywhere, and then couple that, cyber risk, okay? The big red elephant in the room, okay? When we talk about cyber risk, this is something that is massive, right? You see the average attacks there, I'm just double checking my stat, 1,246, is that? 8 attacks per week per business is the current stat that we see. That's massive. So you're supposed to defend against that while you've got a skill set shortage in IT operations, while the shortage is only going to get worse, and actually the attacks are getting more sophisticated. And that really begs a question, right? It begs, where do we focus our time? What do you spend your time on from day to day? What are the most important tasks and what are the most important things to your users? Because if you've got a choice between making people's PCs a bit faster or making things a bit more stable for them, or making sure that your business doesn't get ransomware, you're going to focus on cybersecurity, right? You're going to focus on those bits, and your users are going to suffer even more, something that's going to be only amplified by a skills gap. So our goal at Flexxible is not to fix the cybersecurity problem. It's to automate the day-to-day. It's to work out how we can start to give some of that productivity back to users through proactivity. So over the years, we've built a lot of different tools, and we've integrated them, and we've added layers upon layers of automation. And this year, we've really focused down on our biggest areas of strength, which as an organization, I think is one of the best things that we've ever done. And that is to look at our skill set and our managed services heritage and look at how we can utilize that skill set to deliver into our software as a service based products that we deliver to customers. So, we focus on three key areas. As organizations get more and more complex and they become something that is difficult and unwieldy to manage, we found a way with our utilities that enables you to provide monitoring, support, and observability and automation through a single UI for an organization to be able to view across virtual and physical devices, regardless of broker, cloud, or platform. That essentially means that you could have some VMware, you could have some Citrix, some AVD, a bunch of physical devices, all in separate domains all over the globe, and we can unify that scope of management under a single suite of tools, which I think is quite cool. The other thing that we've really embraced is we did a lot of stuff around, hey, we can automate like this task on this event, like your disk's running out of space, run a disk cleanup. We can see your VPN isn't working, let's reinstall it and things like that, triggered on events or triggered on performance metrics or basically anything that's there. But the problem was that when we gave those tools to our customers, there was only a certain degree to what they did of actually implementing and using those tools. So we said, 1 minute, we've got a team of automation specialists. We've got about 40 of them. Why don't we use those as part of our service? So we bundled into our service assistance with automation services, so that not only can you take what we have out of the box as automation, but we can then start to automate your business processes. We can start to grant end users access to things that are self-service. And also look at maybe your top 10 support tickets in your business and say, well, actually, we can automate 4 of those, and we'll do that for you as part of the service. When we do this, and we do this hand in hand with organizations, we're seeing a step change in the way that they utilize our tools and the way that they actually adopt our tools. That step change is helping organizations to drive a culture of automation, to be able to start to fix things faster, to start to be product proactive. And the next editions that we're releasing is actually looking at how much time we save people through proactively fixing tickets. And that's really important that we're using that service heritage that we have. It enables us to make sure that when we give you our monitoring products, we're not just giving you the products, we're giving you something that is continually optimized specifically for your environment and adjusted on the fly to any changes that are in your environment. We're also looking at building things hand in hand with your teams in a manner that we call automation first and human second. Can we automate it? Yes. If it's not in our tools, talk to us. We'll help you build it. So I'm running out of time, but I've got a couple other things to cover off quickly. So this year, just to kind of prove that we do know what we're talking about, we put a bit of work in. So we were recognized, something that we're very proud of as an organization, by both Gartner and IDC. Gartner, we are a niche player, but for an organization of our size, that's something that we are very proud of as an organization, to be featured alongside the titans of the industry, such as Microsoft, AWS, Citrix, VMware. And we're also an innovator in virtual client computing by IDC for 2023 for our specialism in automation. But what does this actually look like in the real world? So this is an idea, and I just want to be very clear, that's an arbitrary figure per ticket of $40, okay, per incident raised. So I don't want to flash that number. That number's not believable. It's an arbitrary figure. Just want to be very clear about that rather than show you some numbers that don't make sense. This is live from one of our customers. So I can't scroll through all of the data on here, but what it is pools running out of storage. This is maybe people running out of memory, people running out of CPU, maybe SQL errors or backup problems, or all the kind of things that are actually relatively easy to fix that still require human intervention. Now, what we did here is we looked at them and we said, well, is this an opportunity for automation? Is this something that we can't fix? And we found in this particular customer, from inception of our service to the point where they were a mature platform with us, we had automated 74.46% of incidents and alerts or tickets that come out of that environment. We found that around 16% were unautomatable. They required real intervention. And there was a few percent left over that were pending analysis. So when we work with organizations, what we want to do is help people to embrace services, to embrace automation, to be able to push things like self-service so that people can check out their own VDIs or maybe resize their own VDIs or give the end users or their line managers mastery of their own destiny when it comes to the digital experience of their users. Thank you.